All right, March 2nd, video 2 of 3. We start with GE. So very tempting to be short on GE, which is, so I'll put it mildly, which is it's hard to be long here with conviction. The company is restructured, split itself into bits and pieces, and this is the leftover. I would consider that the original GE. So it has a catalyst. If they go above 212, they can get to 220. That's the good news. And looking left, they can do it. For some reason, it's beloved. It's like IBM almost. Financial metrics don't inspire the price action, yet it's happening, so don't pick a fight with it that you cannot win. I struggled shorting it before, so what worked best is selling naked calls out in time, like really out in time. And this week, I looked and I couldn't find any. So if you wanted to short it, you would buy a put and stop out quickly if it doesn't work, and put time on the clock. So not easy to break out, but if they do take out 212, we already mentioned the upside. You do have support through 196. Lose 196, you go to the low 180s. And that wouldn't be such a crazy thing. So we're looking to see, are they going to break trend? Remember those terms, because you're going to hear them in the video tonight multiple times. Are they going to break trend? GEV. Who is this? Oh, one of the pieces they split off. All right, so this one is lost levels, like 360, needed to hold. I don't have any lines on this one. Oh, I do below. Okay, so this area is shortable. I shouldn't say that. It's going to be a lot of sellers there. And if by some miracle they take out this, they can get to 420. I would bet against it. And if by some miracle they lose that, which is 297, they will come down to the 250 into the support zone from before. I will move these guys over there. All right, so what do we have now? Not quite a head and shoulder, but the concept of one. I'll say it differently in plain, simple English. If they don't get back above 370, they're at risk of losing support. They have support. But if for whatever reason they lose the red line, they're going to get into the 260, 250. I would not hold a put for it, but I would sell credit call spread and maybe buy a put butterfly or something out in time. But it's not that inspiring. This support is solid and backed up for months. For the same reason, it looks pretty difficult to get out of the resistance, which is backed up for months, half as much time. No, actually, months. So it's stuck. Iron condors, maybe. You know what? I'm going to put it on my to-do list. I've never traded it. Maybe we'll trade it this time. Gold. We shorted gold right at the perfect time, did we not? Okay. And we made money with it, and the trade is winning. I would get out. I said target if below 270. Potential 1, potential 2, cha-ching, cha-ching, close to the target, I'll be out. I don't mind leaving money on the table. Now, looking left, this might repeat itself and end up lower. So if I were to say what happened between here and here, they rallied and made a lower low, and they're rallying now. Something like this. Maybe they'll make a lower low. Then the thing will be perfect. But you can see here I said I buy a put, butterfly, or regular debit put spread, or a credit call spread and a debit put spread. I shared those two ideas. Either of those ideas were winners. There's no real support. Look left, that rally was crazy. When people get on the bender with Bitcoin and gold, they just never quit until something breaks. Think back to 2011. Okay, this is a lesson in history on the trade of gold. It's like it's a bunch of older generations which I'm part of, and older than me, that are in love with gold. And the newer generation have the same mentality with crypto, so they kind of overdo it in both directions. So in 2011, up here, I totally can still remember the headlines of the numbers that people were throwing out. 3,000, 3,500, 2,600. I remember these numbers on CNBC and all of that. Back then, yes, I did watch CNBC. And then it went to like a decade-long correction that cut it almost in half. Yeah, almost in half. So the breakout from there, if somebody said that was the breakout technically, now we're talking, okay, so now we're not using emotions. And the breakout was $70-something, and this is the target of that breakout. The depth of the bowl, right? Cup and handle, that's the cup. So it does not make a nice entry point. So for me, if I have, you know what, I'm going to put it on my to-do list, and I'm going to short it the way I would short a stock like GE on rallies. And I'll share it with you, but it'll be a very detailed write-up. So what I want to do is see if I can capture one of these moves by holding puts, but I don't want to pay for those puts. So I want somebody else to pay for those puts. That's the concept. If I can do it, I would do it. So what do I do here? I would not get long gold thinking that it's going to 280. It can, but that's going to be difficult. So let's see if they hold support or if they sell the rallies into a lower low. Very interesting level at 268, give or take $1. Google. So broke trend? Maybe. We'll see. Again, remember those words. The drop from here to here looks about the same size. This one was bought and made a higher high. I dare you, Google, to repeat the process. So what am I saying here? Is it going to not bounce? It will bounce. Let's see if it can repeat the process completely. So trying to come up with a strategy with you with particular levels in mind, like specific. Okay, massive April earnings reaction. It's that orange box. Let's put it into view here. So if it was a massive earnings reaction from April, and I'm 2024 April, and this earnings reaction was from now, February. What? We changed all of that. There we go. So I'm going to move that up here to be face-to-face with the orange one. So now we have a monster earnings box above us and the monster one we're in. Let's just say you can somehow get out of this orange one. What's it going to take to get out of the red one? And I haven't even looked back. It'd be interesting to see the one before it. It'll be in the middle. Let's see here. I think it's worth a few minutes. I know I'm tired and I wanted this session to be over, but this is pretty exciting stuff. I can't tell where it is, so I'm going to put it right here. It's good enough. Ooh, okay. So now we have overlap. This is a 2 earnings ago. This is 1 earnings ago, and this is last year's April earnings. You see what I'm saying? What's it going to take out 182? So if I just take the intersection of these 2 massive selling zones, pivotal zones, right there, I'll put it in white so you can see it and we speak about it. 182, huge levels of resistance between that one and 190. Worthy of me scribbling the letter R+. So selling a put spread, yeah. Buying a call or a call spread, trim into those boxes. So I don't mind owning shares. So on this dip, I would be selling puts or a put spread. I do like that. I'm going to put Google on my trade list. Wow, it hasn't been there forever. I can't stand the company. They're evil. I used to be a fan, but they've done some evil things in the past that I don't like. But the financials, I think they have the best financials of all the mega caps when it comes to, like, if they liquidate the company, they have the best assets, tangible. Okay. So these lines are still important. It says alert 1, 2, and 3. There's a chance it drifts, like this has happened already. There's a chance it drifts lower towards 145, but not alone. The market has to be also falling. Shortest term comments. Okay. I'm spending a lot of time on Google because it's an important company and 2 or 3 of you asked about it. And it is the market. So I don't see a time where Google is correcting and the market not. You can see the candles on the right of me here, these large candles. It's a visual representation of the day on Friday, the week, last week, the month. You see where we're at the bottom end of the price action. So rallies into 175-ish should be met by sellers. Short-term comments. Grab. Let's grab something. What is grab? Okay, so a heavy support below. Okay, those 3 lines is it. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Maybe I'll add another one. You're at support 1, you have backup support, you have resistance above and backup resistance. Look at this candle. That is a shortable candle. That's 1 day. 1 day. The whole zone is sellable. Of course, if you take out that, you go to 650 and 440 should hold. If it doesn't, you go to 380. Home Depot. Let's zoom in a little bit. I said too expensive above. See those comments? Too expensive. The market agreed. They sold it off down to 366 where it should not be too expensive. Now it's back to being getting expensive again. I'll double check that if I need to. So this white box is still pivotal. I think to take out 410 is going to take a lot. If we are going into, let me rephrase, if rates don't fall, nobody's going to be refinancing. Nobody's going to be putting pools. That's the one side. On the other hand, if the rates are too high, not a lot of people are moving, so I would rather invest some money into my house rather than move. Like if I'm itching to move, I have cash, but I don't want to spend money to move, then I might invest some money into my house. I don't know which will work. Let's just play the levels. 404. 404 is pivotal. 416, 17 will give you a breathing room to get to 436. It's a good company. I'd be buying dips. If they lose 364, then you say to yourself, uh-oh, what just happened here? And I will just say, uh-oh, because the downside could be like 330. If, okay? I didn't say short it. I just said be careful. Rallies will find sellers and vice versa. This one, what is this? Tiny company. Sellers above and buyers below. I don't know what to say. If it approaches 1250, there's going to be a seller from behind. If it drops, there's immediate buyers and backup buyers. Robinhood, I told you, avoid the top. If somebody took bearish positions on that, that would, let me see here. I do remember this one. Oh, yeah. All right. This is a note for myself to go back and tease somebody on the Twitter sphere. This purple box is going to be difficult to overcome. The PNL is too, like what is going on here? $1 billion in sales, almost just as much in net income. Did they get lawsuits and whatever? Too wonky for me. I wouldn't touch it up here. I used to own shares. I got out in the mid-20s. I'm not sore about it. I owned them by mistake. This does not inspire an all-in. If I'm long stock and I like it, just be there. Sell some covered calls if you want to. Pivotal zones, 54. I think that's going to be a bear to take out. I shortable up here at 54. Shortable. When I say shortable is let's talk about it before you go out and short the stock. And also shortable up here. This, in a year from now, I'm going to come back and poke fun at somebody. Anyway, Solid support, the zone between 44 and 34. These are round numbers, I know, but that's what it is. Look at it. Look at this line and that. Are they a penny apart? They're not a penny apart. This doesn't say shortable. Pivot. Okay, enough time on this one. All right, partial video 2 of 3. If I missed any of your tickers, reach out to me. I will send you a write-up on them. So we're starting with Meta. Meta is a momentum company. The blue box shows an important zone based on the reaction to earnings, very emotional. The yellow box on the left, that was how much they were pricing in for the earnings as far as straddle. So you can think of it as an extreme in both directions. So a dip into 600 eventually would be buy with confidence. That's putting the cart before the horse. For now, we're trading the blue box. So 640 would be, we might be going to 608 and 590. And getting above 690 is going to be difficult. And if we do, getting above 710 is going to be more difficult. I don't say short this company. I say don't short it because it's kind of a wonky, it's unbelievable P&L. I think it's fake. There's a lot of cheating going on, but I don't know how to prove it. I can tell you that 640 zone is extremely important with a bunch of support below it. If you twist my arm, I would sell a call spread in this one, but I would make it a very active position. MGPI. Wow, I don't know what that is, but they just told you where they don't want to be. 29. So if they lose 29 next time, you go, what just happened? On the other hand, they told you that they cannot sustain rallies above 36. So now you're stuck between these two. 3M, I am short and still making money? No, not anymore. So here's the story is I believe I sent out a position and I bought puts that were very, very green until one day because it's one of those staples like Coca-Cola and Pepsi, which when they sold tech, they showed the markets were falling hard, the whole market. This sector started to rally like crazy. And they're going into a prior fail. Now, I saw smart people, and I mean smart people like I used to look up to these people from decades ago. They traded really well, and they're just sending out videos on how this stock is going to break out because they see this prior fail and they see a huge prior values and they think that they're going to go there. Technically, they're not wrong. I just find it illogical. With depleting sales, a toppy market, sell off in Bitcoin and NVIDIA in froth and fundamentals, and they choose to buy this stock of all stocks. So I am short. And I went from plus 30% to minus 15, 20%. So I'm going to hold my short this week and see how it behaves. It's not a large position by any means. I have the ability to double it and triple it and still be within my normal size trade. So I haven't done any of that yet. I would sell puts against the puts I own, which is what I did. Not an obvious entry point. A dip to 148 is doable. 150 to 148 are the next two targets, as long as they're below 158. If it goes above 158, then I would start questioning my conviction in this trade. And maybe then I'll flip it, close everything, sell a call for December and say, come to me. And if they do, then I'll deal with it. So, MO. Is that the one we shorted or Philip Morris? Philip Morris. So the upside played out. I'll move that to the left. Good job, bulls. They tackled resistance, and now they're in the resistance zone. And now I can update with more levels to worry about. As long as it's below 57, let me rephrase it. It's going to be difficult to take out 57. And if they do, above 58.50 is your next catalyst up to here. Boring levels, to be honest. So buy the dip towards 54 if you're actually trading it. If you just bought calls last week, I don't like to buy calls into a prior fail, but it's not that crazy bad. So just manage your risk. Look at this P&L. It's all net profit. I mean, this is a weird, wonky situation. Anyway, we could debate the viability of the company in the long term. Merck. The problem with Merck is they lost an important zone, that blue box up there. I don't know what that was, but I do trust my levels. And watch this. I'm going to go here to November and just draw a horizontal line. Clearly a pivotal zone. Come on, TradingView. What? Nothing back here? All right, forget you. We don't need you. So as we approach 95, there should be sellers into 98. As soon as you hit the blue box, I don't think you can take that out. So if I bought calls and if I'm long and I hit 94, I would be out. The 94 and above zone is difficult short term. Buy the dip, and hopefully they hold 86. This company is got a good P&L going into earnings. So technically speaking, 104 zone, I would say this is a resistance zone. Not necessarily choppy or anything, that whole zone. Now above you, 124 is a resistance line. Above that, you can get to 150 or higher. And they just falling into support. The problem is the support is a big wide zone. We've caught the falling knife in this one before. And if it does fall on earnings, we will catch the falling knife again. Support zone. So now we're stuck between support and resistance. Going into earnings. There's not much you can do with confidence now. Coin flip for the next few days. So, Microsoft. This is where I have issues here with Microsoft. Impeccable P&L, proven management, very sane, turnaround, everything. They have their finger on the pulse of everything. The thesis of AI this and tech, they have it all. Why are they not near all-time highs? And 3M is looking to break out, and McDonald's and banks are at all-time highs. And Coca-Cola is at all-time highs. I think it made a new all-time high last week. Why is that? Doesn't that strike everybody as really weird? Like, do you trust the market that does that? I don't. I think the market is an idiot, and this is proof of this idiocy. So, last week, it had a flash drop to like 389 and then, or 390. And then in an instant, boom, down to 385 almost. And now they have all these support zones above you. What? So they did their best to get back into this blue box, whatever that blue box was. April super wide correction zone. Okay, so they're doing their best to get back into the April correction zone from last year. And now you can visually see the line. It's not really a line, but it's a zone. That support zone, okay, I can put it here. And I would say this is a resistance zone. So now, what the market needs this week, what this stock needs this week, is an unbelievable performance that takes it above 420. Get me above 420, I'll shut up about everything else. That's your first line of relief. Get up to 440, it's shortable. Anything between these two is going to be incredibly difficult. I'm going to put an R plus up here. And already put an R in this box. So if I wanted to go long this stock, I trust the bottom below it. I would sell a put or a put spread to get long and deploy some cash of the money I collect, from the money I collect, to buy a debit call spread. But even then, I'm not that excited because the market is doing unbelievable things and this one is shy about doing anything. And it has levels of support that date back months and months that it's poking into on no fear. There's no fear in this stock. Why are there are no concerns? And there's this January 2024 fair value gap. What that yellow box below, That's around 375. That is an area where they rallied last year in the beginning of the year too fast that they left open gaps, not typical gaps. Just trust me that they might be looking to fill those this week. So bulls, you need to get it above 420. MSTR, I told you so. Okay. What? I don't trade this stock because the market can make an all-time high, and if Bitcoin drops, this one drops. So that's an extra, we've discussed it ad nauseum. The stock price is completely dependent on the price of the most volatile asset of all time. That is variables you cannot control. And you have a leader, very smart, but says whatever he wants to say and could be detrimental to his stock. So look left and look at my arrows, and I added the bubbles for visual of the arrows. We hit target 1 and target 2. It could rally to 320, maybe, or come down to 170 and 160. Yes, it can. You want to know the reason why it can? If you go into the options and you look at the options well below here, they're very expensive on the call side and on the put side. That means the market makers themselves don't have a clue. If they don't know, you don't know. So you better behave yourself. If I bought the shares at 350, I am not adding here. I say that with complete confidence. As it rallies back, I dare them to go above 300 and 320. You would need Bitcoin to go above 100 again, convincingly, in order for this one to bounce. Now, having said that, somebody on Wall Street may be losing millions and millions of dollars. They will come out with an article pushing the stock and then push it on CNBC and send it to Yahoo, and they cause a spike. If I'm long as a trade and I was buried in the stock, any spike that happens, I'm out like a light. If I'm an investor and I just got long, that's great. Make it a starting position. Like double it when it gets cut in half. Hi, Peter. Did you book your calls last week, Peter? They were up quite a bit. Micron, good company in the industry that matters for the future, AI, this and that. Fundamentally, it's good. They've made a turnaround. At one point, their sales were inconsistent, pops and drops and pops and drops. But for the last 5 or 6 quarters, they've proven to me that they've got their act together. Management is solid. So why is it so volatile? It just makes it easy to trade. Whenever they oversell it, get long, and they love it, get short or exit your longs. So for me, I'm in the mode of buying dips on this one, even though I shorted it last year and I hated it, but that's because it was up here. So that made no sense. And this makes more sense. So let me take out all my lines and go to a big picture statement. It can get to 70. There's no doubt about it. It needs to hold 84, 83. You lose 83, you're going to 70, which would be a pretty good overall entry point. They're fighting in a very wide, very long-term range, 112 or above and 84 or below, so between 84 and 112. You break any side, you're going to overshoot in that direction. Let's rephrase. It's going between 84 and 112. Ping pong for months on end in a violent way. You break one side or the other, you're going to overshoot in that side. Lose 84, you're going to 70 minus. Take out 112, you're going back to 128, 130. Earnings in 18 days. Knee, big picture, nothing to do. It's in the middle of a very wide zone. Big picture. Let's zoom in. And let's see here. If we zoom in, we don't see anything different than what I just said. You have buyers into 67 and sellers into 73. Ping pong inside that zone for now. Earnings far away. Nike, too high for my taste. Inside a very wide range. We caught the dip by selling a put or put spread or whatever it was. I'm fine with that. I don't know. Sellers at 86, they're right there. Sellers at 92, buyers through 68. If you lose 68, you can get into the 50s and then be interesting as a starting point for investments. What we did with Nike before is on the way down, we sold puts and said, give us shares. And they never did. ServiceNow, good P&L, solid performance. I'm disappointed that they lost the $1,000 mark. And now 1,000 and 1,060 and 1,080 and 1,100 are huge problems. So what is it going to take those out? More concerned with 1,000. It's actually 980, but it's okay. How about I don't know what kind of lines I have. Hopefully not a lot. Okay, so this is going to be a resistance zone, that new red box. Red box, great name for a company. Nah, it'll go out of business. Okay, overshot. Now they're back into reversion to the mean. So if you zoom out to a really long term and you look at it, they just reverted to the mean. They've been going up in a channel. It's pretty steep. And they overshoot and they come back to the mean. They haven't gone below the mean yet. They overshoot, they come back to the mean. These two pokes, scary. If they don't recover 1040 convincingly to 1060, this top might stand for a long time. How about I say it differently? There's a chance you will not see a higher high before you hit 800 or lower. 840 or lower. I don't want to scare you, but in the next few months, I think it's going to take a lot to get it up to a new high. It might bounce to 1040. So I would be comfortably selling credit put spreads and no sold puts. It's a pretty big stock. Markets are at an all-time high. Energy, that's a long-term chart. So, wow, that's pretty impressive. Is this a blow-off top? Dang. All right, I'm going to give you a box. No, I can't. Wow. Okay, so the box is different. Oh my God, that is a very interesting chart. I love this chart from a fan of charts perspective. Show me you can take that out. In fact, I dare you to take this zone out easily. But I won't put this one in red. This week. And 109. And then the pivot point, if I were to put one line, would be this line, totally shortable. And you don't want to lose this line down here. So at 98 versus 114, that's the big picture. Immediate resistance, huge resistance above that. The ping pong is between the two white things. NetApp, wow, okay. I don't remember that happening. Let's see if we want to trade it. I don't know what they said on the earnings, but it did fall into a base. Unfortunately, there's still a lot of gaps down there, and this is an idiotic market. They still look, oh, gap, we got to fill the gap. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. So what I'm saying is rallies might be sold in order to fill the gap. So don't be jumping in too soon. Respect the resistance above. And let me see if I can give you numbers. 105 sticks out like a sore thumb multiple times. 102 maybe, but 105. So let's put a line on 105. I don't know how much they can do above 105. I need to zoom in a little bit more. There's nothing. There's just the gap. I'm trying to get some information. Okay, we have another one. 108. 105 and 108. In fact, resistance zone from earnings candle. Not the same as the usual other statements, okay? So as long as you're below 110, you have not made a lot of progress. Tradable, investable, yes. NU. What did we do? We sold a put that paid, and now it becomes an investable thing again. So I'm going to put it back on my list. So if I got out of the trade, and I don't think I have it on my books, I would reinitiate the trade. I need to study the company more. I honestly don't know what they do. Okay, so fintech. I want to know why it's falling when the market cannot stop rallying, but I also am comfortable owning it lower as a starter position. So let's say I don't own any shares in NU and I want to own shares at $9. I can comfortably sell a put at $9 to get a sign there. But I can tell you that if it loses 10 and 950, it could go to 6 in the next few months. So I need to really do the homework. 11.8, big pivot since reporting lines. Actually, I'm going to put it at 12. And another line that would be interesting to me is sticks out somewhere here, and of course the gap up there. So these lines the rally between these two, there should be resistance. So from a trading perspective, there should be resistance in the upper half of this, and you can get long with a stop, because if you lose this, you end up at 980. So I could get long at 1040. I'm going to put an alert. 2-hour HLP long with stops. So I would sell a put on a dip, expecting a recovery. This did not play out, but it can. That's not a forecast, but that's the worst case scenario. So I want to catch it here with sold puts, so I'd break even well below that. NVIDIA, I think I know what they do. Hold on, what did they do? Oh yeah, I know. Anyway, we did well with NVIDIA forecasts, and we respect the fundamentals. The market does not, and to me, it's like, what is going on? So NVIDIA is in danger. The rallies need to hold up. We're going to take out all those lines. I can tell you with great confidence that the zone around 138, below 138, is very pivotal. So what I'm disappointed with is the speed with which they lost 126 last week. They collapsed. So now this week, 126 is pivotal, but this is the kind of stock that we could wake up and it's at 134 or 114. I don't know. You lose 116, you're going to 110 or 8. And if the markets have a red week, this one could be 2 digits in the next couple of weeks. I would be a long. I would sell puts to own shares with confidence. Okay. They grew 80% or 78% in sales. That is insanity. That's just sheer insanity. And these morons out there say it disappointed. Sorry. 132 matters and 138. I think if you focus on the candle from the earnings, you will get everything you need for the next couple of days. Okay. You definitely need to hold the lows from Friday. One Oak. Okay, nice bounce. As you approach 106, you're going to have problems. I would, the yellow circle and the green circle are sellers at the top ends of those. Good bounce expected. So now you have support below. If it fails, I think you have backup support at 86 as well. OKLO, pretty crazy stock. I'm going to take that purple thing off because it did its job. From here, I said, if it pops, it fails. Well, they didn't pop. They just failed, and they overdid my failure, right? So they delivered. So I'll take it off. Now rallies into 39 should be incredibly difficult. So if I were to put a line, I would put it right here. And if I put another line of resistance, I'll put it here. So you're going to rally into resistance, and you have support and backup support. So there's nothing to do. The box is played out. Target potential, well, that didn't play out. It may be in the future, but I would say I would rename that resistance and maybe target potential. Maybe, but I wouldn't buy a call for it. If I got long here, that's great. That's what I need. I would exit at 43 or into 43. Yep. That's what I don't know what they do, but be careful with that. On semi, I said it was vulnerable and it delivered more than enough. So this letter W on my screen, the red W, produces targets 1, 2, and 3. Well, it hit 1, that was the vulnerable arrow, and here I'll move this over to here, and it hit 2 and 3, I believe. So you can measure 3 any which way you want. No, it did not hit 3. 3 is about 45-ish, but look at how well they bought it during emotional reaction to earnings. So if you got short on, this is where you would exit. If you're looking to get long on, this is where you would nibble. But my concern with on semi is that it's got the word semiconductor in it. Okay, why is it going back to levels from 2022 and it can't find the floor? So I am concerned that this gigantic head and shoulders might be here looming. So let's give it credit. $18 or $20, this is the zone, but it can be $31, so it can be going to $37.50. So I would, I guess, do homework, and if you like to own it, you would sell a put to own shares much lower to the end of the year, and you just say maybe they give me the stock at 28. I don't know, I'm speaking from memory here. Concerning. It's a bargain, it looks like on paper, but it's concerning. Oracle, I believe I shorted Oracle by selling a call or something, and I'm making money. I don't think I'm losing money, so I will stay my course. As a stock, it's falling into support through 152. You do not want to lose 152. Do I have lines? Yeah, there you go. So if you lose 152, you will end up in the 140, 135 zone. Okay, and again, this was a gap up on whatever in September, and I remember it being a boring report. You can't convince people once they have their minds made up. Like, tell me, what's it going to take out this island from Oracle? I would short this I would quadruple my position if it goes up there without a change in its fundamentals. Okay? That's how much conviction I have in this. I would quadruple it. Okay. So I'm short and winning. I have nothing to do. There's a big buyer below at 152, and you better not lose it. I'm going to put an alert. And tell me how you can get above 185 and then 192. And if you do, okay, credit call spread. Okay, that's how we played out. We sold a call spread. I did not buy a put spread, but that would have been good. I would redo it. I would sell naked calls out in time. Come to me if you have any questions. Stuck in the middle, good company, no reason to do anything drastic. Just stay inside the zone. Palo Alto Networks. All right, they just reported earnings. This is not the earnings reaction, but this is the break even of the trade we had for the earnings. So at one point around the earnings, these were viable levels that the market makers were looking at during the earnings. Just picture that. So you should know that they were extremely worried about the downside, and they were looking at 180 or minus. They were extremely worried about the upside. They were looking at 220 or higher, excited about the upside. And then they reacted, and now they're inside the reaction. So that tells me you have support, a ton of support through 168, 170. And you have resistance at 208 physically. And if you take out 208, you could see yourself at 225, 228. Until then, what do? Well, you follow the market. And 184 is a warning sign 1 to go 178. On the way back up, I would think there will be a lot of sellers at 200 or higher. In fact, there might be a good battle right here. These two are similar reasons, unfinished business. And down below, plenty of supports everywhere. What is this? I don't remember what that is. Anyway, we'll move it. Paramount. Sellers at 11.6 or higher, buyers at 10.6 or lower. You're stuck in the middle. They look like they want to break out. I don't know if they can. Check out this candle right there. I think that candle matters. So let's put markers on edges of it. They're stuck in the same range from the earnings of November. So I'll take the hash marks out, make that a blue box, and make it sizable. It still matters. you're in the middle of the price range. With that, we finish video number 2.